It's a real honor and pleasure to be here with you this morning. I am going to be giving you some historical background to the sites that we're going to be visiting today. The first place we're going to be visiting is Tango Squadron Museum at the RTAF 141, which is the north side. It's north of the international airport.
Well, today, 15th November 2023, I, along with 20 others, have come to Payap University, Lifelong Learning Center, which is in Chiang Mai, to listen to Jack Eisner.
His nickname is Tang. So that's where Tango Squadron is.
For an orientation talk about today's lifelong learning program, World War II history excursion. Jack outlined the various sites and interesting facts from his study over many years of the World War II fighter unit, AVG, or American Volunteer Group, or better known as the Flying Tigers.
Normally they not allow people to visit so easily. It have to go to many of the steps for taking time and then do many procedures.
And together with Evergreen Tours, Kun Pui and Kun Pongsak, who arranged access to the much guarded inner sanctum of Chiang Mai International Airport, we were able to visit Wing 41, Tango Squadron, where Kun Somat welcomed the group and invited us to look around.
Everyone, elderly people who visit here in Tango Squadron. Now, we have the old pilot or the depot aircraft or we call the big passenger of the airport. ก็2598ใช่ไหมแล้วก็กฎประจำการต่อมาดินลำพูนเชียงใหม่ but it was shot and the pilot of ADG break down for it and we keep it the latest for Megatron to static here after น้องเช็ค I could be
Well, this is the Makajima B5N replica that was replicated for the appearance in a film. The historian who is leading us today, he explained that this is a flyable model, but it is a replica. Well, this is our first stop after the initial lecture at Lifelong Learning at Payap University to come to Wing 41. This place, as the lady keeps telling us, is open on very special occasions. With great privilege, we are here today on the 15th of November 2023. Now, I'm sure somebody looking at this video will know exactly what these things are, as I'm sure somebody in this organisation here will actually know. But to see them all stacked up here, they all have a history, they all have some significance, otherwise they wouldn't be on the shelves. And to see them all here, be it they've got cobwebs and dust, they are all here, almost ceremoniously kept. I always think it's nice to look at these aircraft in connection with people, because people were flying these aircraft. They aren't just pieces of metal and rubber and wire, and people were flying these, and as old as they are, some of them, these are the ancestors of today's aircraft. And when you look at the very detailed wires and pulleys and pipes and the controls, the carburetor heat control, circuit breakers, the radio, push to reset, pull to brake. Somebody's leg would have been under here operating those pedals. And once again, this is a scratch and sniff video. You can smell the seats. You can smell the paint of the metal in the heat. Royal Thai Air Force Tactical Command. I guess this is where the armaments would have been secured. Upbury. What's always amazed me about the age of these aircraft, or the aircraft of these ages, is the snub-nosed look of it. But obviously you've got a propeller in the front. In today's aircraft, we see a very much a streamlined aircraft at the front, because the engines are propelling them from the wings, either jet or propellers. But with these snub-nosed aircraft, right at the front there, it is like it's like a real bulldog, isn't it? It's like a blunt instrument. A gun. Look at that. Well, it's such an angry looking machine, isn't it? It's like this spike is going to come and get you, and whatever we have, you're going to get. Absolutely amazing machine. Let's go along here and have a look. Oh, the front end's missing off of this one. There's a couple of them in here. Yeah, this really is fascinating. This will give us an idea of, you know, the how these are fabricated. Look at this. This is like a honeycomb. It's not a bee's nest honeycomb. It's a honeycomb material, and then just fiberglass on top here. And it's so flimsy looking, isn't it, with all the aluminium in there, or alloys, or whatever the materials are. Yet they are flying birds. And there's another one back there. I have come along here today for the historic value of this tour with Lifelong Learning. The price was $2,200, which, to be honest, if you think about it, it's the transport, and it's the meal at lunchtime, and it's the possible fees that one needs to pay. And I think a privileged view of a place like this is well worth it. And also the other places we will visit today will be, you know, shown them. People will be pointing to them and showing them to us rather than having to read them online or in a book. And it's fascinating that they are shared with us, and that's why I want to take part in some of these lifelong learning sessions. I'll leave a link in the description below to Lifelong Learning. I think it's an organisation, but it's part of the Payap University facility, the campus there. You can go along to any of their events as long as you register and pay. Generally it's around about 300 baht, and I've been to a couple recently, one on King Kawila and also one on Theravada Buddhism. I'm also going on one in December, which is the McCain Hospital. I'm not sure of the scope and the context of what we're going to see there, but I love McCain Hospital anyway, so I'm going to go along on that one as well. But as I say, I've come along here for the historic value, because things that you see, aircraft, you know, a bit of an anorak looking at an aircraft, yeah, I could be that person today, but in actual fact I'm looking at the stuff underneath that, who people were and how things happened, and the, you know, the weave in between what we know today and what went before. It's that that's interesting to me, and I hope it is to you. Otherwise you'd have found most of this video, or many of my videos, quite boring. Oh wow, there's a nice couple of aircraft here, tucked away in these little silo type hangars, corrugated hangars. Wow, relics from the past, eh? One figures that these must have seen action at some time. I wonder what sort of action. And going back to the people, you know, who were the people that flew these? Do you know what these aircraft are?
I'm just going to examine the plate. I've got a feeling, and I may be well wrong, I think they might be, they look remarkably like yaks. Yak, I think 52, but I'm possibly wrong.
A yak?
Yeah, a Yakolov, which is a Russian made thing. I won't find my glasses, I'll be able to read the plaque.
Don't know whether that's going to... It's Bridgeport Lycoming.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not a Russian one.
Made in the USA.
Yeah. Oh well.
That piece there is...
Yeah, but that's the plate for the aircraft.
The whole aircraft plate,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that will tell you what it is and
where it was made.
Wow. Lycoming engine.
Mustang of some description.
Curtiss Wright Corporation, Wright Aeronautical Division, Stratford, Connecticut. Next we're off to a temple in the city, and going to see where some prisoners of war were held, and how the Japanese that were here in Thailand, in northern Thailand. They were holding prisoners of war from US and also from the UK. And the story we heard this morning was kindness by local people in Chiang Mai being offered to the prisoners of war to help them overcome their starvation and their sickness, their needs at this temple we're going to go and see next. It's lovely being here with some people who are knowing exactly what they're looking at, and they're talking some technical words like aircraft numbers and aircraft names, but it's fascinating what detail you don't know because you've not lived that environment before. Oh well, we're in a DC-3. Can we fly?
You know, it looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Very good. Are you a pilot, Ted?
Yes, oh yes, yeah.
So you're enjoying this tour, really,
Oh.
because you can see the relative progress over time of different technologies.
Well, yeah, this airplane, it goes back to the 30s, the 1930s, and it started off as a transfer. As if showing, my father designed the landing gear on this, the military version.
Really?
He was an aeronautical engineer at Douglas at the time.
Okay.
And the DC-3s had a welded up assembly, and they were making them at the rate of maybe one a week.
Right.
And they got an order when the war started for 700 of these to be delivered in a year.
Oh my God.
And they had to figure out a way to manufacture,
Yeah.
speed up the whole process. And one of those was to make a forged, stamped out
Right.
landing gear so they didn't have to weld this thing up. It took forever.
Smart idea.
So,
Wow.
and they must have done a good job because I never heard of a gear collapsing on one of these things.
How fabulous.
This is,
What a lovely revelation that is to know that they had to provide all of those in such a short space of time.
yeah, that interfilm panel you're looking at, that's pretty standard. I was just looking at it. It's we had those in the B-52.
Okay.
And,
You flew B-52s?
yeah, I was a B-52.
Oh my goodness me.
And, yeah, same panel.
Can I touch you? You're a B-52 man.
Yeah, we have this panel in the B-52.
Wow.
And
What was your role in the 52?
fly the airplane.
You were a pilot. Oh, you were flying. You're flying 52s.
Yeah.
Not just. Wow.
Yeah. We were in the B-52. I mean, it's a small crew.
How many?
4
4.
these days. We had 6 back then. We had a tail gunner, but they don't fly the tail gunner anymore.
Okay.
And they have 2 navigators. But GPS has made one of them redundant, taking all the fun out of it too.
In Chiang Mai. And up on the board here, it talks a little bit about the American volunteer group from 41 to 42 and how they were commonly known by the Flying Tigers, volunteer unit in the Republic of China Air Force, comprised of about 100 American military pilots and 200 ground crew based in Kunming, Yunnan. The unit was created by a secret executive order from President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 41, when the United States was not yet involved in the war in Europe and was officially neutral. China had been invaded by Japan in 37. The main east coast ports were under Japanese control, and Chiang Kai-shek government had moved the wartime capital inland to Zhongguing. The AVG's mission was to keep China from surrendering by protecting its main lifeline, of supplies the Burma Road, which ran from the port of Rangoon to Kunming. So here we see Rangoon over here and Kunming over here, and they would have been involved in the protection of this route. The AVG existed for only 7 months, from December 41 to July 42, but during this brief period their achievements in aerial combat established them as one of the most famous units in all of military history. No fighting airplane is more recognised than the Curtiss P-40 with the shark's teeth and the glaring eye. The AVG never had more than 50 combat-ready aircraft at a time, and never more than 70 pilots ready to fly. They faced an enemy force that was 20 times larger with better planes. They were always short of parts and supplies. Nevertheless, they shot down at least 10 Japanese airplanes for every one they lost, and they held the line in China until the United States entered the war. The AVG was replaced on 4th July 42 by the US Air Force 23rd Fighter Group, which carried on the name Flying Tigers and painted their P-40s with the trademark shark's mouth. So there's an original set of Flying Tigers, and then there's the US Air Force 23rd Fighter Group Flying Tigers within that group. The Burma Road is a highway extending about 1,154 kilometres, 17 miles, through mountainous terrain from Lashio to Kunming. From the port of Rangoon, shipments went by railroad to Lashio, then by truck to Kunming. As the crow flies, it is 515 kilometres, 320 miles, but the road's roundabout route through high mountains and the many hairpin curves make it much longer. Although called the Burma Road, all but 117 miles lie within China's borders. Construction began after the start of the Sino-Japanese War in 37 and completed in 38, a road extension east of Kunming connected to China's wartime capital in Chongqing. There we have a variety of photographs accompanying it. The wreckage that we see here today is of William McGarry, wingman, AVG 1st Squadron, Adam and Eve's. On 24th of March, 10 Tomahawk P-50s 1st and 2nd Pursuit Squadrons attacked the Japanese, and his Tomahawk, damaged by anti-aircraft fire, attempts to return to the RAF airfield at Namsang, Burma. His P-40 cannot make it, and he bails out over the jungle at Ban Mok, Jampe, northwest of Mae Hong Son, and landing safely in a clearing. After a few weeks in the jungle, McGarry is captured by the Thai police and interned in a compound on the grounds of Thammasat University, Bangkok. With the help of Seri, free Thai, McGarry escaped 14th of April 45. The OSS flew him to Ceylon, and he eventually returned to AVG in Kunming. The wreck of McGarry's P-40 was discovered in 1991, located now in the Tango Squadron Museum. So that's what we see here, and all of that wreckage comes from the mountains in Mae Hong Son. If you get a chance to come into Wing 41, there's not only the wonderful aircraft on the ground floor and in the small hangars, but there's also more exhibits up here. You can see up here there are many aircraft, more modern than we see downstairs, but all the same very, very interesting. Well, this guy's really adventurous. He's going in there for the kill. He's going in there to have a look where the bullets hit the metalwork. And we've got a diagram from a website that we were pointed to explain to us where the bullets hit the bridge. And therefore, this is evidence. This is something factual. It brings it home to you about that war. And when you see the holes in steel and the damage that's here, you can literally just reach out and touch it.
north half of the village now is a hospital. If the buildings weren't there, we could see the rail line, the rail embankment. So the plane is coming down across this field. It's breaking up. It's somersaulting. It's in a ball of fire. The embankment stops the engine. That's the last piece of the plane that's moving across the field.